Hey guys, how you doing? It's Vince. I'm going to do a response for the subs contest for the Vinyl Potato. He wants everybody to show some singles, and I got a stack right here, some oddball stuff. And first of all, congrats on your subs. And he's got a cool little channel himself. He is the resident Green Day maniac of the group, at least as far as I know, because he says it all the time. So he's the big Green Day fan of our group here. So let me get started here. I will start with a couple from Big Country. This is Wonderland. The flip side is called Giant. Now this, I believe, is from, there's a print-on label thing. This is a British import. It's from '84, so must be from their second album. And there's that one. Now the second one is actually from '82, which is a year before their American album came out. So I'm not sure if this is actually on an album or not. Song's Harvest Home, and the B-side is called Balcony. There's the back. And this is also a British import. And this one's got a paper label. And these are Big Country. You know, if you know what their other tunes sound like, you know what these sound like. I dig them. It's that Scottish influence and, you know, pretty straightforward rock for the 80s. Makes me happy, that's all I know. By the way, in the background, if you can hear it, this is April Wine Attitude. This is an they put out in '93, which is actually the year after I saw them. I believe this is the first album they put out after they got back together. So that's what's in the back. Next one is one of my 2 picture discs. I have 2 picture disc singles, and that's it. I don't have any albums. This is Kim Wilde. There's the front. And on the flip we got this. Kind of a faraway picture. And songs are The Second Time and Lovers on a Beach. Musically, not my favorite. Actually, my favorite by her is their first album, where Kids in America came from. It's kind of got more of a rock punk edge to it. This is a little more dancey or techno-y, but not bad. But you know, cool picture. So obviously, I'm keeping that. One more from Kim. This is actually from her second album that I don't believe was released here. Her first album was more rocky. This is a little more on the techno side. It's not bad. It's not as much in my wheelhouse, obviously, but this is View from a Bridge and Take Me Home. Or Take Me Tonight, sorry. And label, it's on Rack. And that is from '82. The picture disc, I believe, is from '84, after she relaunched herself in the US. The next one I have is from kind of an early new wave band that I like a few songs by, but not a lot. This one particular song I really dig, and I found an import single out years ago. It's One Small Day by Ultravox. And back is just this. This says Easterly. Flip side I don't dig so much, but I really like One Small Day, and there's a few other songs by them that I like. It's on the Painted On Chrysalis, and it's a British import. And so there's that. The next one I showed quick in one of my last videos, so I'm just going to pop it up real quick. But I used it for the title, which is my Zappa Baby You Take Your Teeth Out single, backed with Stevie Spanking. This is on British EMI, black label. This is kind of an oddball. I've never seen one like this before. So, Zappa. Now the next 2, common singles, but not in this version. These are actually from Holland. I found these in the '80s. I don't remember where. But these are actually Journey singles. And there's Don't Stop Believin'. And you see the sleeve here. And then there's the back is the cover. And then the label is this import CBS, and they're from Holland. The cool thing about these, besides the picture sleeve, is they're on real vinyl with that frickin' styrene crap that I hate. So it doesn't get all distorted and what have you. So at the same time I found that one, I also found this one. Open Arms. Same place. That's one's got this picture in the front, and then a black and white picture of the cover on the back. And of course, once again, it's on that CBS label. So those are kind of cool. They have unreleased tunes on the flip, or songs that aren't on the regular albums. So I've held on to those for a long time. Next one is one of the few records I have from Spain. Found this out here, I believe, many years ago, at a record store that doesn't exist anymore. This is actually a Nick Lowe single, and it's on Stiff from Spain. It's called Halfway to Paradise. Flip backside's the same thing, but it's on a Spanish Stiff Records label. It's kind of interesting. And the flip is called I Don't Want the Night to End. Now, neither of these are on the Pure Pop for Now People album, his first US album. So I don't know if they were released on something other than single or not, but either way, I've got this, so that's kind of cool. And I got a few colored vinyls. This one's a common, but I figured I wanted to show it because it's kind of an interesting color. Ryan Adams, Christmas Time. There's the back. But it's on this kind of opaque green vinyl, which I think's kind of cool. As the promo from when I worked at the record store, so it's got the same song on both sides. But kind of nice. Now, going along with the green theme, I have this, which is by an Irish group called Horselips. And this song is called Sure the Boy Was Green. The flip is Exiles, and it's on DJM, and this is actually a Canadian copy. But this was released on Clear Green. So it's Sure the Boy Was Green, and it's green. That's kind of cool. Next one is one of the few punk records that I own. I find them amusing. They're the Dickies, and this is their punk version of Silent Night, which is quite amusing. And the flip side is actually a punk version of the Sounds of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, which is also amusing. And what's cool about this one is it's white. Now, the only other Dickies record I have is a 10-inch that's also on white vinyl. That is a punk version of Paranoid. So, those are my Dickies. So that is an American copy, that is not an import. The next one I showed quick too for the title one. What I didn't show, and this is actually Cub Coda. He was the guitar player in Brownsville Station. And there's the back. I actually have the album of this too, and the album is also, like this, on pink. Now, the cool thing about this is that 2 of these songs aren't on the album, the other 2 are, so I've got 2 extra tracks. But it's good blues-based rock, and he sings, so it's got the familiar voice of him. And that's kind of cool. It's on a small label called Baron out of Massachusetts. The next one is my one Beatles single. Yes, I only have one Beatles single. Don't knock me. I'm not a big Beatles singles person, but this came out when the anthologies did, and actually got this as a present, so I kept it. It's the Free as a Bird single. And there's the back. And that's on this kind of altered Apple label. There's the back. I figured I'd throw that in there because that's actually one of my newer singles, and it's from '95. Now the last ones I'm going to show are all kind of based from my home base, or around my home base, and so I kind of put them all together. The first one is from kind of like a Knack kind of power pop, new wavy kind of thing called the Flash Cubes. This has 3 songs. The single is Christy Girl. And then on the flip, it actually plays at 33 and has 2 songs on it. Apparently Christy Girl was recorded in the studio and the other 2 were recorded in their basement. on a TAC 3340. So the quality's not quite the same. Here's the back. Here's the band. And I don't know how rare this is. I'm assuming it is to a degree. But I don't have too many of these kind of homemade kind of things. But there's the label. But it's pretty good for what it is. Well, like I said, it's from Syracuse, which isn't too far from where I live. Or where I used to live, I should say. Back in Rochester. The next band is actually from Rochester. Now, this band is one of probably the most successful band from Rochester. They're called Duke Jupiter. They put out albums between 78 and 85 on 3 different labels. So they probably lasted the longest, recorded the most major label albums by any band from Rochester. Now, in between the first and second stints on labels, they had gotten dropped by Mercury, and in between did a lot of clubs, which I actually saw them in 1980, play a small club called the Red Creek. And around that same time they put this out. This is like a little local EP, small label. And here's the band. This guy actually died of cancer, the bass player. I actually played with the guy who replaced him for a period of time. But in the labels, Power Glide, and it's got 2 songs on each side. Now, 2 of the songs on here ended up on their next albums. They got picked up by a subsidiary of Columbia. They released an album called Duke Jupiter 1 and had their most successful song called I'll Drink to You. That actually got airplay on MTV as a live version for a while, and did chart. I don't know how high it got. So they did have a little success in the early 80s. Next is a band from Rochester called Cappy and the Frenchman. This is another kind of new wavy, kind of early 80s new wavy band. This is actually from 1980. And there's the back. They're pretty good. It's another EP. It's got 2 songs on each side. Moulin Rouge Records, or whatever it's called. It's another oddball, homemade kind of thing. Next one is from a ska band. They're from Rochester. And one of these 2 tunes were actually used on the local homegrown radio show where they played the local bands on. They're called Bahama Mama. So this is called Future Fear and Hurricane. There's the back. It's actually from 79. And no label, just says Bahama Mama on it. And they're good tunes. Like I said, they're kind of like ska. A white boy ska, you know. Now the last one is kind of amusing. Now this one is actually a little pop group. Now the reason I have this is because I actually played with the drummer for a very short time, and he had these records left over from the group that wasn't together anymore. He gave them to us, and now this is extra cheesy because apparently they changed their name from the Sophisticats to Two's Company, or the other way around. They used to be Two's Company and then changed it to Sophisticats. So what they did was they got stickers and they put them over the top of the old labels that had the other name. And for some reason I tried to take one off, and it didn't work so well. So I put it back on. But you can see right there where there's the old labels coming through there. And they're pop tunes, you know, they're okay. One's better than the other. But for posterity's sake, I kept it. And this is another local group from Rochester. And that's my little stack of odds and ends. And hope you enjoyed it. And, well, good luck on your subs, and everybody take care, and I'll see you later.